Crescent Moon, welcome to Midnight Murmurs. Wolfface unleashed the untold tale of Ariana, a courageous werewolf fighting to protect her pack and the fate of all werewolves. Join us on a thrilling journey of ancient artifacts, powerful transformations, and the ultimate battle against a malevolent force. Hit that like button and subscribe to Midnight Murmurs for a captivating adventure through the shadows. Glowing star, don't miss out on the secrets that await under the moonlight. Crescent Moon Paw Prints. Chapter 1: The Legacy Awakens. The full moon hung high in the night sky, throwing an enchanting radiance across the deep woodland. Ariana stood at the edge of the great oak, her pulse pumping with eagerness. Tonight was different. Tonight, she would learn the truth about her heritage, her destiny, and the relic that had been given to her. When she moved into the forest, the quiet rustling of leaves under her boots became a rhythmic symphony, drawing her further into the mythical land of her ancestors. A soft breeze wafted through the woods, taking with it the odors of moss and wildflowers. The air felt electric, as though humming with old power. Ariana's senses heightened, and she closed her eyes, allowing her instincts to take control. She could almost hear the voices of her ancestors, reaching out to her from the depths of the forests. Her heart raced with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. What would she learn tonight? Then, a small gleam grabbed her sight. Ariana followed the shimmering light, her steps cautious and deliberate. A clearing loomed before her, bathed in the moon's faint light. At the middle, perched upon a stone pedestal, was the artifact, Crescent Legacy. The relic was an exquisitely wrought silver amulet, decorated with symbols and markings unknown to Ariana. When she reached out to touch it, a wave of electricity coursed through her, causing her to gasp in both amazement and dread. Images flooded her mind, images of her forebears, their power and solidarity, their conflicts and victories. Each vision offered a piece of the jigsaw, a hint to her pack's redemption. Time seemed to blur as Ariana lost herself in the stories conveyed via the relic. She saw her great-grandfather, a heroic warrior, leading their pack to triumph over an evil power that threatened to engulf them. She observed her grandmother, a wise and esteemed elder, bestowing old wisdom upon the young werewolf cubs, developing them into future leaders. These insights into her family's past awoke a sense of obligation inside her, a fire burning bright in her heart. As the night drew on, Ariana's connection with the item became stronger. She could feel its power pulsing inside her, linking her fate with that of her forefathers. She knew she had been selected to preserve the Crescent Legacy, to harness its power for the greater benefit of her pack. With a newfound feeling of purpose, Ariana exited the clearing, the amulet firmly snuggled against her bosom. The weight of duty rested upon her shoulders, but she accepted it. She would need to collect her pack, impart her newfound wisdom, and prepare them for the conflicts to come. As Ariana made her way back through the jungle, a fresh resolve engraved on her face, she realized that her adventure had just begun. The item held the key to her pack's redemption, and she would stop at nothing to secure its safety. With her heart attuned with her ancestors' spirits, she would lead her pack into a future where the legacy of their race would remain. The moon hovered over her, pouring its dazzling benediction onto the young werewolf as she embraced her destiny as the final descendant of an ancient bloodline, a guardian of the Crescent Legacy. Chapter 2: The Call of the Moon. The night air was cool and filled with the aroma of moist earth as Ariana stood in the midst of the holy space, surrounded by towering ancient trees. Her pulse beat with anticipation, because tonight she would embark on a transforming adventure, guided by the wisdom of a respected elder. Moonlight flowed through the deep canopy, illuminating fascinating patterns on the woodland floor. In the distance, the howl of a wolf resonated, as if reaching out to Ariana, asking her to accept her real nature. She took a long inhale, absorbing the earthy perfume, felt a tingle in her veins. A creature appeared from the shadows, a bent, aged wolf with silver fur and wise, knowing eyes. That was Elder Tala, the venerated matriarch of Ariana's pack, whose knowledge of the ancient ways was unrivaled. Tala's voice, worn by decades, carried a feeling of power as she talked. "Ariana," Tala started, her voice imbued with a rhythmic cadence, "tonight we shall embark on a voyage of self-discovery. You have the blood of our forefathers rushing through your veins, and it is time to unleash your latent talents." Ariana nodded, her eyes fixated on Tala, her reverence for the elder's knowledge clear. She wished to embrace her lineage entirely, to tap into the raw power that lurked inside her. With each passing instant, her connection to her werewolf heritage grew stronger, like a rope dragging her toward her destiny. The elder took Ariana farther into the woodland, their route lighted by the moon's soothing radiance. They arrived in a lonely glen, a hallowed area shielded from prying eyes. The subtle rustling of leaves and the distant hooting of an owl filled the air, creating a calm environment. Tala positioned herself at the center of the glen, gesturing for Ariana to stand near her. The elder closed her eyes, her ancient body shaking with a secret force. Ariana emulated her motions, allowing the ambience of the glen to embrace her, to blend with the energy of her forefathers. As the moon soared higher in the sky, its silvery beams caressed Ariana's skin, suffusing her with a pleasant warmth. She felt a stirring within her core, as if a dormant flame had been awakened. The ground beneath her feet appeared to vibrate with invisible energies, the very heartbeat of nature resonating through her bones. Tala began to chant, her voice vibrating with strength and old wisdom. The words swirled around Ariana, enclosing her in a cocoon of electricity. Her body trembled as her muscles tightened and changed, a primitive energy waking inside her. Bone and sinew rearranged themselves, shaping her into her lupin shape. Ariana's change was both amazing and overwhelming. She marveled at the power and grace of her new body, the heightened senses that allowed her to experience the world in exquisite detail. Her instincts drove her actions, pushing her to embrace the savagery that had always dwelt inside her. Beneath the moon's watchful gaze, Ariana and Tala went on a ballet of metamorphosis, moving between their human and wolf forms with ease. The elder imparted knowledge, instructing Ariana how to harness her talents, to channel the raw energy rushing through her veins. As the night dragged on, Ariana's confidence rose, her control over her changes becoming more sophisticated. Tala watched with a mixture of pride and satisfaction, knowing that her pupil had accepted her true self. When the moon reaching its highest, Ariana reverted to her human shape, her chest heaving with exertion. She stared at Tala with thanks and reverence, knowing that she had been granted a gift beyond measure. She knew that her life would never be the same again, but she embraced the change with open arms. She was ready to accept her wildness and release her full potential, led by the wisdom of her elder and the power of the moon. Chapter 3: Unveiling Shadows. The old study smelled of faded parchment and dust, its shelves stocked with dusty tomes recounting the history of Ariana's clan. She sat at an old oak desk, surrounded by open books and stray scrolls, her forehead wrinkled in serious concentration. The mysteries of her family's past were behind these pages, ready to be revealed. At each flip of a brittle page, Ariana put together the broken history of her family. She discovered tales of valor and sacrifice, of intense wars fought to maintain the werewolf heritage. Yet she also found references to a malignant power, a mysterious entity that has long tried to seize the Crescent Legacy for its own nefarious reasons. As the hours dragged into the night, Ariana's drive intensified, spurred by a mixture of curiosity and concern. She needed to learn the full power and purpose of the relic, to discern why it had such significance for her pack's redemption. Led by a flickering candle, Ariana went deeper into her study, her hands tracing fading ink on yellowed pages. Ancient symbols and cryptic predictions flashed before her eyes, asking to be interpreted. She diligently analyzed each sign, cross-referencing them with her visions, trying to unravel their meaning. It was during one such late-night study session that a voice from the shadows surprised her. "Searching for answers, little one?" The voice conveyed a tinge of both familiarity and power. Ariana's heart skipped a beat as she turned to face the speaker. Standing there, hidden in darkness, was a person she had only seen in her visions, Elder Magnus, a sage famed for his knowledge and ability to converse with the spirits of the past. He had appeared to her previously, leading her through her ancestral visions. Ariana's voice quivered slightly as she responded, "Elder Magnus, I want the truth concerning the wicked entity that covets the Crescent Legacy. How can we protect against an adversary whose roots remain hidden?" Elder Magnus drew closer, his presence both soothing and perplexing. "The answers lurk within the very fabric of your ancestry, young one," he remarked, his voice bearing the weight of millennia. "The malignant force intends to harness the power of the relic for its own wicked purposes, to unleash disaster upon both the human and werewolf realms." Ariana leaned closer, her gaze transfixed on the elder's face. "Tell me, Elder Magnus, what is the actual purpose of the Crescent Legacy? Why does it hold such importance?" A grin flickered at the corners of Elder Magnus' lips. "The Crescent Legacy is more than a simple item, Ariana. It is a key that unlocks the latent power inside the selected ones of your lineage. It is a light of hope and togetherness, a source of power that, when wielded with purity of heart, can preserve not just your pack but the balance of the supernatural world." Ariana pondered his words, the weight of her obligation seeping in. But how can we assure that the artifact remains out of the clutches of the malignant force? She said, her voice laced with fear. Elder Magnus' eyes blazed with resolution. We must assemble our allies, both inside and outside our own pack. Only by establishing partnerships and uniting our capabilities can we stand against this common threat. The enemy attempts to divide us, to use our differences. We must show them that unity is our best weapon. A fire erupted inside Ariana as she nodded, her determination crystallizing. She would seek out the opposing packs, the lone wolf, and the ancient creatures that had a similar interest in safeguarding the Crescent Legacy. Together. Chapter 4: Tangled Alliances. The moon hung low in the sky, throwing an enchanting glow over the old woodland as Ariana traveled into new terrain. The crunch of leaves beneath her boots resonated through the night, a reminder of the anxiety that coursed through her veins. She had come to seek an alliance with a rival pack, a pack whose power and commitment may be the key to maintaining the Crescent Legacy. When she neared the boundaries of the opposing pack's territory, anxiety crackled in the air, dense with the aroma of pine and the raw energy of changing werewolves. Ariana's pulse hammered in her chest, but she knew that she had to push aside the hostility that had split their packs for years. The wicked power endangered them all. A pair of golden eyes materialized from the shadows, locking upon Ariana with a mix of interest and concern. That was Elias, the opposing pack's leader, a fearsome man with a reputation for both strength and cunning. He watched her with a mixture of cynicism and wary fascination. "What brings you here, Ariana?" Elias inquired, his voice tinged with an undertone of power. "Why would the last descendant of your bloodline seek an alliance with us, your sworn rivals?" Ariana squared her shoulders, meeting Elias's stare with steadfast determination. "We have a common adversary," she said, her voice firm. "The malignant entity desires to take the Crescent Legacy, and it threatens not only my pack, but yours as well. We must set aside our differences and unite to safeguard our race." Elias observed her for a minute, his gaze penetrating. Then, a glimmer of recognition crossed his features. "The visions," he mumbled, more to himself than to Ariana. "I, too, have seen the ancient visions, the warning of approaching gloom." Ariana's eyes widened. The common experience of the visions formed a kinship between them, transcending their pack competition. She drew closer, her voice softening. "We are stronger together, Elias. We have the ability to change the direction of our history, to rewrite the narrative that has broken our packs apart. Will you stand with me?" Elias's face stiffened, and for a second, Ariana believed he might ignore her appeal. But suddenly, a gleam of something close to hope flared in his eyes. "We will battle by your side," he said, his voice vibrating with a renewed resolve. "For the sake of our packs, for the future of all werewolves." Ariana released a breath she didn't know where she had been holding, a mixture of relief and appreciation filling her being. The first step toward unity had been achieved, but the actual test lied in persuading the remainder of Elias's pack to join their cause. News traveled fast over the other pack's area. Whispers of alliance and united purpose spread, fueling both interest and mistrust. Ariana and Elias stood side by side, addressing the group, their voices bearing the weight of their determination. The malignant power threatens not only our packs, but our entire existence, Ariana stated, her words bearing a grave intensity. Together, we hold the strength to maintain the Crescent Legacy, to secure our legacy and preserve the equilibrium of the magical realm. Elias's voice lifted, resonating with a combination of power and tenderness. We have been adversaries for far too long, blinded by the past. It is time to rise beyond our differences and build a new path, one that secures the survival of our race. Will you join us? A pregnant stillness hovered in the air as the competing pack members exchanged glances, their expressions conveying a combination of anxiety and longing. Eventually, a lone voice shouted up, followed by another and another, until the entire pack was chanting in unison, "We stand with you, Ariana and Elias. We shall battle to defend our legacy and secure the survival of our kind." The tension evaporated as the two groups joined, their differences forgotten in the face of a single threat. Together, they would battle the wicked power and emerge triumphant, their relationship stronger than ever before. Chapter 5: Trial by Fire. The sun hung low in the sky, spreading long shadows across the bleak terrain. Ariana and her newfound comrades stood at the entrance to the ancient trial grounds, a location reputed to test the absolute limits of a werewolf's power, devotion, and resolve. Each step forward held the weight of apprehension, their gaze riveted on the massive gates that loomed before them. Ariana's pulse hammered in her chest as she addressed the gathering, her voice solid but laced with a trace of worry. "This is the trial grounds," she continued, her words ringing across the solitude. "We have come here to prove our value, to test our mettle and assure that we are able to preserve the Crescent heritage." The gathering werewolves exchanged looks, their features etched with a mix of eagerness and worry. Among them were members of Ariana's pack and Elias's rival pack, now united by a shared purpose. The trial grounds contained the secret to their preparation, their capacity to face the malignant entity that endangered their survival. With a resolute nod, Ariana led the way, the rest following closely after. The trial grounds spread before them, a maze of towering trees and concealed hazards. The air crackled with an unusual energy, and the soil beneath their feet appeared to vibrate with expectation. The first trial awaited them, a test of strength. Huge rocks loomed in their path, each appearing hard to lift. Ariana's gaze swept the area, seeking a solution. She turned to her allies, her voice strong. "Together, we can conquer any challenge. Let us pool our power and push through." With synchronous effort, the werewolves positioned themselves around the boulders, their muscles rippling as they strained against the weight. Sweat dripped down their brows, combining with the grime and resolve engraved on their features. Slowly, inch by inch, the stones budged, drawn by the aggregate power of their oneness. Ariana's heart filled with pride as the route cleared before them. The first trial had been mastered, but they knew that larger obstacles lied ahead. The next trial would test their loyalty, a series of difficult riddles meant to tax their intellect and their ability to work together. They found themselves in a labyrinth, its meandering pathways a maze of bewilderment. Symbols studded the walls, cryptic messages requiring comprehension. Ariana scrutinized the marks, her mind rushing to make sense of the complicated patterns. She shared her views with the group, urging others to offer their own observations. Elias, his eyes glinting with acute insight, pointed to a particular sign. "I have seen this before," he remarked, his voice full with assurance. "It denotes unification, the merging of forces. We must discover a technique to arrange the symbols in that manner." The werewolves started to work, each offering their wisdom and instincts. They adjusted the markers, rearranging symbols with great precision. As they reached the last alignment, a gentle rumbling resonated through the labyrinth, confirming their triumph. The barriers moved, providing a route forward. The trials proceeded, each providing its distinct set of problems. A gauntlet of elemental tests, trying their agility and durability against the powers of fire, water, earth, and air. A test of character, where they were presented with moral problems, requiring them to walk the delicate line between survival and sacrifice. Throughout each trial, Ariana studied her supporters. She watched their unshakable drive, their steadfast commitment, and the depths of their strength. Connections developed in the furnace of the trial grounds, forged through shared victories and disappointments as they struggled towards a single objective. And when they emerged from the last challenge, triumphant and altered, Ariana understood that they had become more than simply a gang of werewolves. They had become a family, joined together by their experiences and their unshakable dedication to each other. And with that newfound strength, they were ready to tackle whatever obstacles were ahead. Chapter 6: The Final Confrontation. Black storm clouds swirled over the ancient ruins, sparking with demonic energy as Ariana and her comrades prepared for the last fight. The air was dense with anxiety and a feeling of impending catastrophe. Ariana's heart hammered in her chest, her palm gripping the Crescent Legacy, its power vibrating against her flesh. Her companions stood by her side, a unified front against the wicked power that wished to take the relic and inflict havoc upon the planet. Their eyes met, a tacit acceptance flowing between them, a common awareness of the hazards they were about to confront. This conflict would decide the destiny of their packs and the future of all werewolves. When they neared the center of the ruins, the malignant entity materialized, a towering creature enveloped in darkness, its eyes gleaming with a dreadful light. It exuded a tangible air of malevolence that sent shivers down Ariana's spine. Yet she stood erect, her voice echoing with unyielding conviction. "We will not let you succeed. We shall preserve what is ours." The demonic power chuckled, a sound that froze the very marrow of their bones. "You cannot grasp the power I hold," it growled, its voice booming across the rubble. "The Crescent Legacy will be mine, and your race will be nothing more than a memory." Ariana's grasp on the item strengthened, her determination strengthening. "We are not alone," she said, her voice echoing with anger. We are werewolves, bonded by a lineage that transcends across time. And we struggle not just for ourselves, but for the equilibrium of the supernatural universe. Her words rippled through the ruins, awakening an old energy that resonated deep beneath the soil. The earth rocked beneath their feet as werewolves from all parts of the nation emerged, a cohesive force ready to meet the demonic menace. Their eyes glowed with resolve, their fangs bared in a display of primitive wrath. Ariana's gaze met Elias's, the opposing pack alpha who had become her valued ally. Their common path had transcended competitiveness, forming a kinship built in struggle. They nodded to one another, their unspoken agreement urging them forward. The battle erupted with a flurry of claws and fangs, the collision of supernatural might ringing through the ruins. Each werewolf battled with unflinching loyalty and uncompromising resolve, their own soul vibrating with the force of the moon. Ariana's transformation was complete, an expression of her connection to her ancestry, a light of hope in the face of despair. Her fur glistened in the moonlight, her eyes ablaze with an inner fire. She leapt towards the terrible force, their encounter sending shockwaves across the air. Their combat was ferocious, a ballet of light and shadow, might and perseverance. Ariana's pack battled by her side, their solidarity boosting her spirit. Elias battled with a fresh intensity, his opposing pack standing shoulder to shoulder with him. While the conflict went on, Ariana witnessed her forebears in her mind's eye, their proud faces engraved with the weight of their sacrifice. Their leadership spurred her ahead, a light of hope and courage. With a final rush of strength, Ariana launched her most devastating attack, a flash of heavenly energy that encompassed the malicious force. The force screamed, its black shape wavering as the light engulfed it. In that moment, triumph appeared within sight. Yet the malignant power was crafty. It regrouped, its shape altering and reshaping. It replied with a renewed vigor, sending a surge of black energy that threatened to overwhelm the werewolves. Ariana and her flock kept their stand, their determination steadfast. They battled back with all their strength, their own strikes meeting with the force's black energy in a chaotic show of might. The struggle carried on, each side reluctant to give in. Yet Ariana understood that they couldn't keep this up forever. They needed a strategy, a means to weaken the force and eventually beat it for good. While she battled, her thoughts raced, looking for a solution. And suddenly, a gleam of an idea flared in her head. She signaled to her pack, and together they fulfilled her plan successfully. The evil energy waned, and Ariana and her pack grabbed the opportunity to strike with all their strength. Their assaults landed true, and the force faded into nothingness. Ariana and her pack had emerged triumphant, their perseverance and fast thinking enabling them to prevail against the darkness. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey through the pages of Crescent Legacy here on Midnight Murmurs. Crescent Moon Wolf Face, we hope you enjoyed uncovering the secrets of Ariana's werewolf bloodline and the thrilling battle against the malevolent force. If you want more enchanting stories, captivating characters, and mysterious worlds, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an adventure. Glowing Star, remember, the night holds countless mysteries, and Midnight Murmurs is your guide to unlocking them all. Stay tuned for more thrilling tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Until then, may the moonlight guide your path. Crescent Moon Paw Prints, don't forget to like and subscribe.